here we are. You just saw Baba's Next Chapter, and here we are with filmmaker Jamie Wong. Jamie, thank you so much for submitting your film to Sherman Oaks Film Festival. I think it's such a fun and I love the documentaries that we get that are about a very serious topic that's a bit of a sometimes documentary can be a downer, and I love the fact that your documentary just fills me with a spirit of life. I thank you for making a documentary about your dad, because boy, I see where your wonderful attitude in life comes from, because
Thank you.
his his enthusiasm for these projects is just so delightful. It's I think I think the two of you make an incredibly good pair on screen.
Well, I would hope so. And yeah, thank you so much for all the kind words. And I feel really, really honored that my film was accepted into the Sherman Oaks Festival. Um, and exactly like you said, that was sort of partially the message I want to convey through my film, which is that um, you were saying there's like you can feel the positivity through the film. I do also want to, through this film, to show people that a broken relationship or relationship that has got changed, that you feel like it's not going to come back anymore, you can try to change it in a way that it's not the same as before, but it can still be something positive, and you guys can still have a future together. So
Yeah, actually, it is lovely the way you show pictures of you and your dad when you were quite young.
mm-hmm.
And then, of course, we all drift away from our parents at some ages, and then we come back, right?
Yeah, totally. I think it's just a lot of times, um, because, for example, our parents and us, we've drifted apart, and you feel like there's a lot that we don't have in common anymore, but there is always something that you can try to look for to try to rebuild that kind of relationship and to try to share something in common.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about the relationships, but let's talk about your filmmaking. It's a very well made film.
Uh-huh. Thank
And
you.
an obvious question is, it's almost a layered meta documentary, because it starts off with how you're approaching your father about adapting his stories to
Mm-hmm.
film. When did it
Right.
occur to you to make a documentary about that process?
So it was actually, well, I didn't um, plan for making a documentary until when I started taking a documentary class. And in that class, everyone was supposed to make a short documentary as their class project. And around that time, um, my I realized my father hasn't been talking to me about his novels or his plans of like writing more, or even doing something else that's more creative, because he was always talking to me about that. So it kind of like um, it's interesting because the two things happen to overlap: my documentary class and the fact that my dad is retiring at the same year, in the same year, and he's like not really talking to me about these creative projects anymore. So um, so it occurred to me, okay, instead of shooting someone else, instead of finding another object that's far away from me, why don't I just do something about my dad, and do something with my dad that I feel like can actually mean something to both me and him. So that's where the idea initially came from. And I didn't plan for actually making something. I wouldn't say this film is perfect, because it's far from it, but I didn't plan on making this film to be as complete as the way it is, because it was just supposed to be like a class project. Everybody just making something small and random, maybe not very serious. But the deeper I went into this process, the more serious I became, and the more devoted I saw my father was becoming. And it's kind of interesting because the more devoted he became, the more inspired I became, and the more I want to make it count. So gradually, this little class project thingy just became something that I was really enthusiastic about. So originally, like a small project became a half a year or even longer kind of process, because it would just, I guess the half year was just the production, the shooting process. But then afterwards, I started editing. I started like um, looking for. I started trying to make this little project to be um, as complete as possible. And so of course I devoted way more time afterwards in post-production as well. And then eventually the film became the way you saw. So yeah, so it wasn't planned, but it was something that I'm very happy that I did with my father.
And it sounds like it kind of took on a life of its own.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
are you and he still collaborating on screenplays to make films based on his stories and novels?
Yeah. So my father, he got so excited about this documentary. Of course, he got very touched as well, but he got very inspired, that he started writing again, and he started coming up with all these ideas, cool ideas, crazy ideas, however you name it. But um, I think what I did has definitely um, made him want to go back to doing more creative stuff, whether it's writing or even filmmaking. Um, so yeah, he's been bringing to me a lot of ideas. And last year, um, we started collaborating on developing a feature-length documentary, which is about, it's temporarily titled 1978. That's the year China reopened its university for the first time after the Cultural Revolution. And my father was the first batch of people who went into universities that year. So they're like all brilliant people. And they've all got their own stories before the Cultural Revolution and afterwards. So the idea was to follow his classmates. Um, they're like a really unique bunch of people who have gone into the best university in China, and so these people they have they have gone through a lot before the Cultural Revolution and afterwards. So yeah, so there hasn't been anything done about the people who have gone into university right after the Cultural Revolution. So that's something my father really, really wanted to explore. And of course, that wouldn't be very viable in China because things related to that is kind of like a taboo. But my father, being as adventurous as he is, um, he wanted to bring this to the daylight, and he wanted to the stories to be passed on. So that's
So
something we've been developing.
it
Mm-hmm.
sounds like he sort of caught, as well as he's always been a writer and he's always been
Mm-hmm.
creative. So it's not surprising you became creative. But it
Right.
sounds like he caught a documentary bug from Baba's Next Chapter,
Yeah, he did. He totally.
which
Um,
is very funny because Baba's Next Chapter,
yeah.
for all of us who just watched it right before this Q&A, it feels like it just, it feels like the next chapter is after working and then finally retiring, he's going back to his creative pursuits of writing fiction. And now we're learning there's actually an addendum to Bob's next chapter, which is he's got the documentary bug. And that sounds like an amazing documentary. I mean,
Thank you.
to have grown up post revolution and then been able to go to the university right when things loosen up a little. What a
Mm,
unique, that generation's been through something amazing.
right. So there's definitely a lot to tell there. Yeah, he is definitely starting to uh, become very interested in documentary, but he's also been writing his novels, fiction, of course. And yeah, so he's got like all these ideas going on, um, fiction or documentary. And I've been just telling him, Dad, we're going to do things one step at a time. We can't do everything all together. And particularly because, you know, COVID happens. So everything got kind of stalled. And I can't see my father. Um, and of course, he can't travel here either because of the travel ban. But it's just like the documentary that we did, the short documentary. We've been collaborating remotely and sort of being connected that way.
And as far as you as an artist and a filmmaker,
Mm.
it sounds like you're quite busy. It actually sounds like you have to manage him a little, but what are your focuses now? Because as you said, your focus was on narrative filmmaking, I think, and then you made a documentary just for one class, right?
Right.
But are you writing scripts and focusing on other things too? And your dad's
Mhm.
ideas are sort of
Yeah.
on just
So,
another shelf?
mhm. So I definitely became super passionate about documentary after the class, and of course, making this documentary with my dad. So originally, I was primarily focused on um, narrative, but now especially because my dad is developing this documentary with me, so my focus has been shifted more on the documentary side. Um, and right now, my priority is, of course, to stay collaborating with my dad to make this documentary happen. But it's not like I am not going to be doing narrative anymore. That's where I started and where my passion was, and my passion is still there in narrative. So I've been still writing scripts, and right now I've been writing a feature-length script. I've only shot short films before, but now I've been writing a feature-length script, um, and I'm not sure whether um, I would try to make this before 1978 or after. Probably it's easier to make documentary first, given its feature length. But it's definitely something I am developing on the background.
And are you done? Did you complete your postgraduate programs?
Um, yes, I just completed.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I just completed earlier this year. Yeah, right before COVID happens.
That's probably perfect timing, huh? No,
Yeah,
no remote school for you, thank goodness. But
right. I know.
well,
Uh-huh.
congrats on finishing. And
Thanks.
I think we're kind of running into the end of our time here.
Okay.
Uh, is there? I do know that you had a few people contribute to the film, right? I can see
Mhm.
Lionel Levine
Right.
and Nicole Niquinto
Yeah.
gave them credit on Film Freeway, so I'm reading right off off the page.
Mhm.
But is there anyone you need to mention?
Yeah. So, people who you've just mentioned, that they're great. They were producing this film together with me. Super creative. super reliable and very passionate too. I also want to particularly thank my composer, Lindsay, because she is she is someone who's very busy, but for this film, she really devoted a lot of time to help me create the best music that's that's both suitable to this film and also have like a Chinese touch to it. And we worked together a lot on the composing part of this film. So she's someone I really appreciate. And then there are actually quite a few people that contributed to this collaborative process. For example, my sound editor Nico, he was also someone who really devoted a lot of time. And then my illustrator, Camilla, she worked with me remotely, but she was also like very, very responsive and just constantly amazed me with her creation. And then my story artist Paul, he's also someone who's just brilliant. I mean, everyone on this film, I really want to thank, because it's a student film ultimately. I didn't really have a budget, and they didn't know what they were getting into, and they were just helping out. And yeah, it was just because they love the story, that they love the concept. They wanted to be part of this process of me reuniting with my dad, and they want to be part of this story, want to be part of this team. So so I really, really appreciate everyone's help.
That's wonderful, and the film came out great. So
Thank you.
I know one person can't do it alone, so it definitely shows that a lot of people were there when you needed them. But please
Definitely.
extend our warmest thank you to your father
Uh-huh.
for obviously making Baba's next chapter possible for you.
I will.
It's really just a lovely. I'm sure everyone who sees it as part of the festival just say how much they enjoyed it. It's just too bad COVID kept us from enjoying it in a theater where an audience could have given you a round of applause and
Oh,
told you how delightful it was and inspiring, and really a nice view into, you're also a unique person with a childhood in China, now going to university and living here. So I think it's a wonderful documentary. I hope everyone sees it.
thank you so much. Yeah, I hope, even though it's the festival is changed online, I hope everyone will still be able to enjoy the film. And I will definitely share everything going on with this festival and the screening with my dad.
That'd be great. Yeah, actually, we're international now. You don't have to
Yeah.
fly to LA to watch it anymore.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Yeah, I'll see whether he can, the VPN issue in
Yeah,
China. Like,
he has to pretend, make the computer, yeah,
right. Mhm.
crazy.
But if he can, I'll definitely have him watch the online screening.
Great. Great. All right.
Mhm.
Well, it was a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah,
And thank you
it's
so
my
much.
pleasure too. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.